match my Rolex. Everywhere I go flex, valet park on some low shit. Whole lot of smoke in that Rory, that thing poke. Burning rubber, wearing cameras, they was undercovers. Under pressure, made statements turned on their brothers. Never judge you, but the streets will never love you. I wonder what it come to in your brain for you to run to. One's the haters, and cuffers and maces. Call us dumb niggas cause our culture is true.
Welcome to the Perfectly Incomplete podcast, y'all. Paying a little homage to Nipsey Hussle. I'm saddened when I say it, but I'm your host, Imogene, and
I'm your host, Toni.
And I'm just like a lot of people who, with the passing of Nipsey Hussle, I am like, I don't know. I don't even have words to express how I'm feeling right now. But I'm just, oh, wow. I don't know. It's a lot. It's just really a lot. And I really didn't know a lot about him before this happened. But naturally, after the fact, I dug deep. And what a wonderful model of a businessman, of an entrepreneur, of a humanitarian, an anthropologist, of someone who's turned their life around. And I am just devastated.
I'll have to agree. I mean, I never listened to his music, but eventually, like when I had a conversation with someone, and I was just like, "Well, I don't understand what's going on," and they sat down and they explained it to me that, he pretty much bought out a whole block
Hmm.
in South Central, and in that block, he employed people within that neighborhood, pretty
Hmm.
much establishing wealth within that neighborhood,
Hmm.
and I was just like, "Oh." Well, what happened? And then that's how that
That's how you found
conversation.
out. I'm
Yeah.
just like and I don't know a lot about Los Angeles, but I was just in Los Angeles. I was in Los Angeles in August and I was in Los Angeles in November. I was actually on Crenshaw. So
Hmm.
not knowing where I was, but to just be right there and I'm just floored. I'm just floored. I just think the whole situation when I read his story of where he comes from
Hmm.
and, affiliated with the Rolling 60s, a Crip gang, made it out alive, unlike his other brothers who were killed or imprisoned. He makes it out alive. He vows he's determined and dedicates himself to turn his life around, not only to bring himself up, but to inspire others and let them know it doesn't matter where you came from, you can rise too. And then to have this happen, I'm like, wow, I don't know how to feel. I don't know how to feel.
I mean, again, personally, I don't know him. I mean,
Okay.
and I wasn't really too tied to him. I do think it is a sad story. And I think the part that kind of really pisses me off is that how are you such a good person? How do you bring yourself out of something and then you still end up dying the same way that you were trying to prevent the entire time?
Well, it may seem irony. My thinking is a little different.
Piss me
Some
off,
people
but
say you'll reap what you sow. The way you live is the way you die, right? And I don't know because I'm not the great almighty, although he resides in me. But in trying to look at it through the eyes that makes most sense to me, I think Nipsey was an angel sent to be here for a little bit of a time, regardless if he was affiliated with a gang. You know, like I said, he did what he did. He turned it around and his demise was very, I'm not going to say untimely, because apparently it was his time to leave. That's if you believe in the almighty creator. If you believe in the almighty God, he said there's a time to be born, a time to die, and he has the times in his hands, so he knows the
mm,
time. So when you look at it like that, and I believe everybody's sent on earth with a specific mission, and for that brother right there, Nipsey, mission was accomplished and
so
then
then
some.
and then in turn, that's the reason why it was pretty much his time to go.
I mean, I never understand, and the only way I can make sense of it is from a spiritual perspective. There's a scripture that says, speaking of God, his ways are higher than ours, his thoughts
Mm,
are higher than ours. It's who can understand the mind of God? So I try not to put it on it. Yes, I'm in awe when I look at this role model of a man, staying true to his identity, who he is, letting you know where he come from, and brother Nipsey had it. Nipsey had it down. He realized the way for black elevation, It was all about economics and
Mm-hmm.
keeping the money in the
The
community.
community.
So he had it. He actually modeled Marcus Garvey's model, Malcolm
Mm-hmm.
X, Martin Luther, but Marcus Garvey was a little bit more radical, but he got it and he was doing it. And if nothing else, it is tragic the way his life was taken. But you know how they say, like artists, they sell more when they're dead than when they're alive.
That is so true.
And I don't want to sound cold because my heart really goes out to his family and his loved ones and his community. And honestly, as a black sister, I feel I got really emotional about it, because here was this great human being. Everybody stereotypes rappers and affiliated with gangs how they are.
Mm-hmm.
This brother was a genius, you understand? And to just be taken out like that, like broad daylight, like that.
That was another thing.
Haters,
I
haters.
think it goes beyond hate
You
because
know,
it takes a very, very twisted individual to kill someone that is only trying to help you, that is only trying to make your life better. It takes a very twisted individual to do that. You can't tell me that there's nothing wrong with that person.
in my
And
opinion,
quite frankly, I really don't care about what's wrong with him. Like just that's just me and that's just how I feel about it. But there's something wrong that you see somebody else doing better. But because they're not doing what you want them to do or whatever the case may be, I don't know his reasoning. I don't know. Maybe he just felt like being like, I'm just going to kill him. I've had enough of him. I'm going to kill him. I don't know.
well, and needless to say, we will never
I
know.
wasn't done talking.
Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead, honey. Go ahead.
But yeah, I mean, it
She
takes
put me in check, didn't she, y'all?
It's the first time. And I didn't know how you was going to
I
take
ain't mad
it.
at all.
But I still don't understand why. And granted, maybe I'm not a murderer, so I will never understand. But how do you do that? How do you hate on somebody so much that is doing something not to benefit themselves, but to benefit an entire community, your community, the community in which you live in? How do you hate that person so much to kill him?
That's a good question. And if we look at it from a superficial perspective, we can only look at what the media is telling us. And y'all know I do not trust the media because I know that's about propaganda, it's about mental oppression. But what I will say and agree to, yes, you have to be mentally ill. And mental illness is a common thing, even though
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people, and I'll say black Americans or African Americans, whatever they want to be labeled, they have this stigma associated with getting help for mental illness. And a
Mm.
lot of us need it. Yes. And I'm one of them. I do counseling and therapy because I'm not too big to say that I'm 100% mentally healthy. I
Mm-hmm.
think no one is because if we are, we would never make poor choices and everything. But yeah, you have to be mentally ill. And how could you do this? Because you're sick. But it's even bigger than this individual's mental illness. And I don't know, there's a lot of theories going on about why Nipsey was murdered. And I have my opinions. They're just mine. I see the bigger picture. Like you say, how could someone kill someone who was trying to help them? And if and I always say you go back to our history and we've been enslaved and now mentally oppressed. And a lot of people have that crab in the bucket mentality. If you
Mm.
listen to some of Nipsey's songs, he talks about that. I've
Mm-hmm.
been listening to it a lot lately and listening to the messages, but it's like, yeah, you are sick. Whoever could do something like that, your thinking is off. You're
Right.
not really thinking logically, and it's like your mind is in a place is not developed. You just shot out in the head. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, it's just like I don't know. I'm like I just don't know. A lot of people are saying a lot of things, and when I look at the young man who they arrested, Eric Holder, I mean, what? Your name is going to go in the history books. Your life is over. They got you in solitary confinement. They're probably going to get you while you're in prison,
Mm-hmm.
because the whole world, I believe, is mourning, and you, because I don't know if you want to be him or you hating on him. And then they were childhood friends. You understand?
That was another thing. That's what I'm saying. How can you hate somebody so much that's doing nothing but to help you?
But people do it every day. And I think it's about being thinking, I think it's an insecurity where individuals feel inferior to others, and it's a mindset. Because I know, like, there's been a lot of talk. Nipsey grew up in that hood in Crenshaw where he grew up. He did his thing. He didn't do it the way the rest of the rap artists did it. He did it his way. Stayed in the neighborhood where he grew up, developed businesses there, and that's huge to say the least.
Mm-hmm.
So for someone to just you coming at this brother, to me, there's got to be some kind of insecurity or you feeling that he think he better than you. And it was said he shook his hand. Right. Nipsey's associate interviewed. He was talking to some news guy, and he was saying they were standing there, and the guy came and shook his hand, and somebody went to get a hamburger or something. He went in the store. He called it 3 seconds. It was probably a little longer than that.
Mm.
And he said the guy came from around. Next thing you know, it was going down. So but for you to come in front of somebody's store, that's like you going to somebody's house.
House.
You going to somebody's house and you taking them out because I don't know, because what? Because why? Because they're doing good and you're not. Which the message he's saying to people, be determined, do your
Mm-hmm.
thing, you can do it. So that I'll never understand, but I look at it much bigger than what it appears to be. I'm just so saddened. And I just want to share this, Tony. When I think about the black leaders that we have had, the ones that have really risen and had a great following, they were always taken out. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? It's like, and it said Nipsey didn't pursue mainstream commercial success. He moved the way he wanted to move, and
Mm-hmm.
that's what makes him so legend to me because he didn't follow the other paths of the way other rappers do. He did him the way he did it, from his marketing strategies to his lyrics to how he wanted to release whatever. He was his own product, the CEO of his product, and he did it like he did it. He did not put himself in the control of others, and I think that makes a statement. But by the same token, I think that could piss a lot of people off. And he was against anti-gentrification because he made sure where he grew up, look, I'm buying all of this, so we don't have to worry about no outsiders, no
Right.
developers coming, to run the lower income people out of the neighborhood.
Right.
And I just think it's much bigger. And that's my opinion. That's my opinion. But either way it goes down, may he rest in peace. And everybody's like all illy in mourning right now. And I feel it too. But to me, the bigger thing is, are we going to mourn for 2 or 3 days and then
Right.
stuff goes back to normal? Because I'm not. Because I've been listening. He had prolific written tattooed on the side of his head. And dude was prolific, is, and his legacy does live on. I'm much older. He was 33. I'm 54. But that brother taught me a lot, gave me a lot to think about.
Mm.
So I know that just because he's gone, I'm gonna keep playing his stuff, and get it down in my spirit. He tells a story. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just curious to see what's gonna happen. Everybody's mourning him. Is it gonna die out and people gonna go back to the status quo?
Right.
Or are people gonna keep, you know, progressing and moving toward what he says
Right.
that they could,
That
you
they
know,
can achieve.
yeah, levels they could achieve. Yeah.
Hmm. I have a question. I wonder what's going to happen to the area after the fact. Because as soon as essentially what happens when there are quote unquote high crime areas, when the crime rate goes down, property taxes go up. However, as soon as there is a significant crime, especially if it's a violent crime, property taxes go down. They plummet.
And I don't know. I'm not an economist, so I can't answer that as far as that, like the market fluctuation of real property um, value and stuff like that.
Right.
But I do know, just from listening to different community leaders that have been interviewed, they have said they will continue what this young man started. And I know they're trying to get the name of the street changed to Nipsey Hussle. Rest in peace, Nipsey Russell. Nipsey Hussle Boulevard. They're trying to change the name of it. And I saw something where some congresswoman is trying to enter him in the records as being in the records of history. I saw that today and I don't know who it was. I probably shouldn't say it, but yeah, that. So I think there are community leaders that are going to keep the dream alive.
Mhm.
And I know Nick Cannon said he's going to pick up the work where he left off as far as the documentary with the Dr. CB. He's going to do that. And what Nick Cannon said was really huge because, he has this theory that, um, well, the way I understood it, that Nipsey was killed because he was bringing to light something that people should know and that they can benefit from. And this was information that, maybe he shouldn't have been shared, bringing to light.
Right.
But Nick Cannon says, and that's why they killed him. He said, but they can't kill us all. I thought that was interesting because, like, the way I view it myself, this young man, regardless of what the reasoning was, I think a lot of people could say, and I'll say, he was just doing, he was doing greater than what people feel like he could achieve or deserve to achieve.
Right.
Like other people outside of his community race anyway, because everybody saw his greatness. And right, I mean, I saw people in tears. He touched these lives, right? And I think, whenever you supersede or you transcend
Mhm.
yourself, we're a threat. Let's keep it real. Who is this person coming here doing all of these things? He's getting too much power. He's influencing too many people. Let's silence him. And I don't know if that's the case, but that's what I believe may be true. And I don't want to speculate, but what I will say, even if that's the case, brothers and sisters in his community, or anybody listening around the world, you got something to think about because here's a brother who lived and died 33 years. We may say his life was cut real short, real quick. But when you look at the experience he lived in those 33 years, yeah, he did a lot, right?
Mhm.
He did a lot. So what are we going to do? His work has been done. And I think one good thing about it is because of the attention that's being focused on him, it's a great thing because nobody in the world has any excuse if this man can rise up from being in a gangbanger, you know, and take his money and flip it and put
Mhm.
it into something good. And just from the core of him, I don't know him personally, but just from reading and learning, I love the man. I love the brother. I have much respect for him.
Mm.
So is his dying going to be in vain now? Are people going to go back to doing what they're doing?
Well, I hope not.
And that fool that's sitting in jail or wherever he is, for all we know, somebody just promised him something. You never know.
I hope it's not something like with
You
like
be
with
throwing
a
shade at me, wiping your nose, 'cause you be doing that a lot.
no. I have
Is that some kind of a
allergies.
sign or something, like a gang
No,
sign?
a gang sign.
I don't know. You might
No,
be
I have
throwing.
allergies,
All right, that's cool because I know
and it's
you be
spring.
you be doing it all proper, like doing it all
Because I
like
don't want to
that.
be sitting here like blowing my nose.
Well, if you gotta blow your nose, you gotta blow your nose.
I hope it's not like a kind of like how big corporations buy people out, be like, hey, if you do this on the side. I really hope it's not. And again, not going to speculate. It sounds like a conspiracy theory, but
Well, you can't help but to think that way. And my thinking is,
and what I really hope is that it's not like big pharma trying to do it.
well, see, you're an intelligent woman, so
I really
you're
hope.
thinking on the level I'm thinking of critical thinking when you're thinking what he was doing with the co-work
Right.
spaces, and he revamped the playground and
Mhm.
his clothing line. He had a barbershop, a food joint. Everything he did, he was frequenting his own businesses, right?
Mhm.
And you know, like I will go here to quote this stat: Black people spend 1.3 trillion dollars a year. It's called the $1 trillion game. This video that I saw, but and mostly 98% of it goes out into other communities. So
Mhm.
you have like only 2% of money that Black people are spending, putting in their community. And with Nipsey Hussle and his things, I'm sure other entities felt the impact of his community spending money in their community. And
Mm.
at the end of the day, it's a big money game, right? So, I have my thoughts and stuff like that, and we'll never know.
I
We'll
mean, we
never
will,
know.
because I'm sure the old dude's gonna probably go to trial,
I don't know.
and he got to come up with some type of excuse.
But
Because
when
if
you
it, especially when stuff comes out of nowhere, it has to. You gonna have to say something.
But it does boil down to the hate. However you do it, it boils down to a hate, especially a brother on a brother. Like, I don't believe in murder anyway. I mean, could you really get so mad at somebody
That you kill him.
that you can't forgive? You can get so mad at somebody. Oh, then you don't make me so mad. I'm gonna kill you. I can see self defense, or you're protecting your family, or something like
That
that.
I can't see, but however,
And it
I
was
can't.
premeditated because he walked up, shook his hand, he left, went back and got his piece, and then had the nerve to run afterwards.
Where you going, bruh? Like we
Yeah,
all see
like
you.
that's a little punk move, huh?
But I still I don't understand. I can understand how you can dislike someone to the point where you don't want to be around them, you don't want them in your space. However, I don't understand hate, period.
Mm.
Because I was a kid that used to tell everybody that I hate them. And my mother sat me down one day and told me, hate is a very strong word. Do you realize how much of your own power that you have to give to another person in order for you to hate them?
Yes.
Like, do you realize what that does to you?
Yes.
And I was just like, no. She's like, so you don't hate anyone.
Yeah.
Because you're not giving people that type of satisfaction to hate them. It's like, don't do that. Stop saying it. So
and
I
that's
did.
deep. What your mom told you that's deep. If you think about it, you're allowing someone to control the way you function.
Right.
That's
because you can't stand them that much.
Yeah,
So
that's
you
a lot
can't
of
go out.
energy.
It messes up your whole day. They name get mentioned and messes it
Yeah.
up. Your whole day could have been fine. And as soon as someone said something that sound like they name, all of a sudden your whole day messed up. Do you really?
But you know what? You're absolutely right. And I would just like to know this man, Mr. Holder. I mean, you took a life. Does that make him feel better? Do he think he's the next rising star? I don't think so. So what is he gaining from that? What are you gaining? Because they're probably going to take you out.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm
You
saying?
ain't going to survive for but so long.
Yeah. And then he's going to go to the mental hospital afterwards, right? So that's why I'm saying I think it may be bigger than that. But, we could
But do
beat
you think it was a cop-out?
We could beat it all day.
Because, some people still try to plead insanity. It don't work.
No.
Insanity don't work.
I just think
you
it's
can't plead it no more. It don't work. It don't work. It don't
I
work.
don't know. Well,
it don't work.
Nipsey Hussle, rest in peace. And like I say, I wish his family, I ask God to be with them as they mourn, and his loved ones and his community. And you have definitely touched the lives of millions all over the world. And I know I'm going to have a little something special in my house for you. I'm probably going to have to put you on my wall. You know what I'm saying? Because you are someone I respect and admire. And just listening to the lyrics in his song, it's raw and it's real. But this young man was telling a story, and I am proud of the life he lived and the legacy you leave behind. I will do my part to expose younger people to you, to your music, and let them know what you're about. I know I'll keep it going. Rest in peace. God bless you. Much love, my brother. So yeah, the hate is real. The hate is real. So we're just talking about Nipsey, but I mean, we're still alive. You got haters?
I don't know if people hate on me. I can't really say because I really don't give a damn. Excuse my language, but I really don't give a damn.
Right? I guess you just live life. But you know that saying they're like, you keep your friends close, your enemies closer. And I guess that coincides with watch and pray. You need to know who you're being around so you know who coming at you. But who wants to live a life like that, right?
That's living a life in fear constantly.
Yeah. But there's a lot of haters on Facebook. But yeah, you got haters?
I don't know. Honestly, I really, really don't. And I hope I don't. I mean, if you do hate on me, be my guest. I mean, I don't feel like I live a life where someone could hate on me. You know what I'm saying? So, I feel like I'm not doing nothing too grand where, someone could be like, oh, look at Toni. She doing this, and I don't be doing nothing. I go to work.
Yeah, but you're just doing you. You're
Pretty
doing
much. I'm
no.
pretty sure that you have haters, not necessarily me.
Wait a
You
minute,
out here
hold
just
up.
doing
So
it.
you trying to subliminally say you hate me?
You tried it.
What? I tried what?
You tried it.
What?
No, I don't subliminally hate you. I can't
What?
sit.
Look, we can get it. Because I'm the good thing, man. What's up? Frank Lucas. No.
Who?
What do you mean you sure I have haters? I don't know. That takes
Because,
me.
like, no, because you're doing so well. You own your house. You're an entrepreneur. You're a public speaker. You just out here doing everything. You remember our first episode, right? When you went down the list of stuff that you do, and then I'm just like, I'm Toni.
but see, you know what, Toni? Maybe I'm on a different wavelength because I don't even think in terms of that. And when I look at you,
I'm sorry, you're a record label executive. I'm sorry, you can't just sit here and tell me that you don't do much.
but I'm not a mainstream. Like
that
I'm not.
Don't mean nothing.
Well, but I just want
You will get there.
No, but what I'm saying too, and I appreciate you seeing the roles that I play. And when I look at you much younger, but I say you're doing it. Like you just took a certification test today. You know, you have your abode, you have a great relationship, you're in good health, you have a good livelihood, and you're a beautiful person. And I would like to think you do what you do. So, and not that I want you to have haters, because I don't want nobody hating on nobody.
Right.
But I'm saying I don't even live like that. I just do, like, I pour myself into things that I like to do,
Mm-hmm.
and I like to help people. I love music, and I did go to college and all of that stuff.
But you're good at it. That's the difference. Because like there are people out there who like, oh, I like music, but they're not like good at it. It's
Well,
not like
thank
a
you.
gift that they have.
Thank you, and I appreciate that, and I receive that. But I would like to think I don't got haters, but you do have haters. If you think about it, when I think about social media,
Uh-huh.
I'm going to go there. You got what you call, some people are for you, they're not for you, or some people, they're just watching. That's what we call the fans, as Bernie Mac says, the fans, right? So they're watching, they're scrolling down, they're not commenting, they're not liking, they're like nothing. You could tell that when you have so many views and whatever, but they're like in the shadows. That's just creeping. You know what I'm saying? And
Lurking.
they're lurking. They're lurking. They're lurking. And I would equate some of them to haters because, like, if I'm doing something and I say, hey, support me, share, and like this. If you take the time, if you take the 2 minutes to watch my video, shouldn't you at least share it? If I'm asking you to. So by virtue of you watching it and you won't share it, I'm like, what's up? I mean, you don't have to, and it's your page and stuff like that. But I think everybody probably has haters. You know what I'm saying?
Ugh.
And because that some people. I know some people that I talk to, mostly family members. We'll just be talking about something, and well, I've learned I don't share good news. I share good news with my family. Bad news, I don't share. I'll be realer and go live and say I'm having a bad day today, just to vent. But I know better than to go and talk to someone, because if I'm doing good, like if I say, look, I just landed this contract for like 50 G's, I'm going to get a phone call 2 days later.
Can they borrow
my car broke down, or something like that, right? So I know better to do that. And then if I'm really going through something, like, yo, me and my husband, we going through it. And then I got people saying, I can just see it with the way they talk.
And then all of a sudden, like, let's say you guys get back on good terms after you going through, then they start talking about, like, well, she just said this, and this, and her husband doing this.
Yeah.
I see where that goes. Yeah.
So I don't do that. And it's like a lonely life. And I can only imagine what like really successful people on higher levels, the ones who enjoy their life, I can only imagine how lonely it is, because they do know they have haters.
And
probably
you feel like you can't trust nobody.
You can't. And that's really, I mean, it could be bad if you're by yourself. Like, I have my family, I have my sons, and I have my husband, and I have you, and I have a couple of friends. My circle is very, very small, and I do trust these people, and I love them. But even my sons be flipping out sometimes. But I know they're not going to hurt me. I know they're not going to hurt me. And, so we do a lot of things together and we have fun. But sometimes if I'm experiencing some things that they can't relate to,
right,
and I can't get a hold of my best friend, which, I pray and I meditate. But sometimes it feels bad because I I don't feel like I can trust people. Because that's what you get because you think you all of this and you think you all of that.
Somebody else said that to you?
No, I'm just saying I don't. I had somebody cut my tire. Somebody cut my. Now that's hate. They cut the tire on my car.
Why?
It's been a while ago, but I'm just saying it just hit me. We're talking
about
haters.
That sounds like a crazy ex-boyfriend.
No, it wasn't even a boyfriend. I guess. Well, I don't know. Well, we ain't gonna go there. But I'm just saying. I came outside, and my tire was slashed. And if that ain't a hater, I mean, that's not as bad as shooting somebody. But still, who gives you the right to feel a certain kind of way that you can come up on my property,
right?
Or even my person? That's hate, right?
I think so, yeah.
So, but I just think haters are haters, and I love y'all haters, even if you watching, even if you're talking about me, right? Because nobody talks about nothing. But I don't think nobody has no right to hate because we're all created. We're created equal. You know what I mean?
And differently, and it's okay to be different.
Yeah.
Why hate somebody because they're different?
Yeah, why hate somebody because they're making moves?
Right.
They just doing their thing.
Like some people are visionaries, other people aren't.
Right.
And that's fine. Nobody's saying that everybody has to be a visionary.
Yeah.
Nobody's saying that everybody is going to like be like, the next Bill Gates, see something and then it's just boom, just happens. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it takes off from there. Nobody's saying that.
And
some people have to work a little bit harder than others.
Yeah, I guess it does come down to the individual, what you value, and where people's center is. Like a lot of people want money. A lot of people want fame. A lot of people want popularity. A lot of people want different things, and that's okay. We all have different personalities. What's important to us is different. So I get it. But even if you want fame, okay, go get your fame. But don't get mad at this brother because he got a little bit more fame than you.
Right.
Or he got more money than you.
Right.
That's stupid. Do what you want to do, and you shouldn't be comparing yourself with nobody else anyway. Because ain't nobody sitting up. Well, maybe it is. I know when I'm doing what I'm doing, I ain't sitting up thinking and saying, look.
Bertha.
Yeah. Bertha May is over here doing this. Let me try to kick it and do it like her. No, I'm trying to do it the way I do it.
Right.
On the level that I can do it.
Right. In your own lane.
Yeah. If I admire you and I do respect you for who you are, I'll say, yo, Toni, you balling, girl, or I've been known to ask someone like who's had reached an achievement that I aspire to. I've been known to say, well, can you give me some advice or guide me? How do I go about doing that?
Right. Instead of just being so upset with that person and what they're doing, how about you just ask a question? Like, how did you do that?
Yeah.
Like, can you teach me?
Yeah.
Like, just be willing to learn as opposed to being so inclined and that's your first reaction to someone is, oh, she did this, this, and this, and da-da-da, to talk bad. Just, it's as simple. I'm sure like there's not going to be nobody out there who's like, yo, I appreciate for what you're doing. Do you mind teaching me?
Right.
Ain't nobody going to turn you away.
No, people love that. People love that when you're interested, because you're showing an interest in them. And I'll even take that farther. I know like when I was in the military and, I went to Europe and I went to Honduras and I was in Japan, a few places, I went to different countries and I was in Austria. And, I tried to learn the language, but even though when I'd be hanging out, like on the Strasse or, and I would try to speak the language, they would love it. And they would be really willing to share things with me because I'm open for learning. And that's what I say, don't hate. And I got to say this, and I hate breaking it down to groups of people because I think it's in all races. But Black people
hate the most.
We have it bad. And I understand because I understand our history. We've been whipped and beaten, and then we've been pitted against each other with the house nigga and the house nigga and the field slave,
Right.
The light skin, the dark skin. I grew up with that, like in the 70s, because I'm really dark, and the light girls with the straight long hair. And, so that's been indoctrinating in us through slavery and we've just been devalued, and now it's mental oppression. So when you have hundreds of years of being enslaved, and even though you come out of slavery, your mind is still enslaved.
Right.
And, that's where the power is. Your life is just the sum of your thoughts anyway. So I kind of can have a compassion for my brothers and my sisters, but that crab in a bucket mentality, I'm trying to pull you down. That's because someone has indoctrinated you with the belief that you cannot achieve. And listen, people, you need to just stop it, okay? Just stop it right now. No, I got to say that to my brothers and sisters. And women, we got it the worst. We worse. All right, you can talk to me about that. Because females, we are a trip. Not me, but y'all. Because I don't hate like that.
I was going to say, because I can give a damn. Again, I don't care because at the end of the day, what you do don't pay my bills. It don't put food in my refrigerator or my freezer, and it don't increase my credit. So, with that being said, I never understand hatred with females. I
Why?
never understand it. I
Why?
mean,
Why do we do that as a whole?
do you think it's because of kind of like insecurity
Well, we know
and
that
because of the male gaze that we have on the world and as a whole? So we
the
feel
male
like
gaze. What do you mean?
so like for instance, everything that we see on television, everything we hear in the media, everything that pretty much our entire lives is all from a male perspective. So the way that a woman is quote unquote supposed to look is from a male's perspective. It's not from a female's perspective. It's not like a woman's out there and being like, you know what, every woman got to look like me. That's not a woman saying that.
And it's and I won't even, well, I'll say a male perspective because that goes back to the beginning of time,
Right.
when you have this handful of dominant, powerful men that made the rules.
Right.
White men. A white man can't make the rules for me. I'm black. How you gonna tell me how to comb my hair? My hair is different from yours.
That's
But that has been the dominant way. And so, and then true, what people need to understand, this world we live in. I'm not gonna go all spiritual, but I believe in the creator, God. I call him Jehovah, that's his name. And I don't believe the world was created to be chaotic in the way it is. And people, the world we live in, you have the media. With the internet, it's a good thing. But
Ooh.
since that, with globalization and it's just, people just need to know, like a lot of kids and young people are watching TV, video, the music, whatever you're exposed to through your senses, you got to know that there's a strategy behind this.
Right.
I don't watch TV a lot at all. I don't really get into it. I'd rather be reading a book or I'd rather be doing something else because I'm careful what I let enter my ears and my
Right.
eyes.
So
Be-
pretty much you're careful with what you absorb
Absolutely.
and what you internalize.
Absolutely. And I see it. If I can see a commercial, like I watch commercials, how it epitomizes the woman, with a short dress on with a Budweiser commercial, so that speaks volumes
Why
to
do we
me
still use women in beer commercials? Like, how does that even correlate?
because it sells. It's like you associate the two. And people just get sucked up into it. They see it like the male, you show him some thought. I'm not saying all men,
Right. We're not
but
speaking about all
not
men,
all
but
men. But for the ones who are not thinking and they're just looking at the surface, and I think that's the deal. So when we say, why do people hate and stuff like that, it's just the mindset, the way they view themselves. And, to me, I always say it always starts with the self. It's how you feel about yourself, how you see who you are. I don't care what you see on TV. I don't care what a video shows you. I don't care what the magazine cover shows you. Why do I got to try to look like that? I can
Right.
enhance myself. And, I like a little makeup, even though I don't know how to do it. But, and I'm getting older. So, I'm getting bags under my eyes and things happening. So I do try to enhance myself, right? But at the end of the day, without all of this, when I take my wig off and do what I do, I walk around my house and I'm still who I am. I don't feel insecure or anything like that. I'm not going to rag nobody.
Mhm.
I intensely go to this house and I try to compliment everybody I see.
I do. That's the truth. You do.
I do.
And I just realized, like, the answer to the question that you asked earlier. You were like, why do women hate?
Yeah.
And it's insecurity. And unfortunately, there's nothing that you can do for a person. If you can tell a person that they're beautiful every day, but if they don't believe that they're beautiful, they're not going to internalize that. And, they're not going to see beauty when they look into the mirror. So that was like light bulb.
It's definitely
just now.
It's definitely processed, but I believe a sense of self-security, in my opinion, works from the outside to the inside.
Okay, so let's take that a step further. How does one establish security within themselves externally?
Okay, well, I'm going to tell you what I experienced and what I find works with like some of the ladies that I've spent time with and that I'm trying to boost their self-esteem. If you look good, you feel good. And like I know I can remember my when I got divorced for the first time, and I was just like in a really bad place. I was just really in a bad place. I wasn't, I ain't gonna say letting myself go. When I would go to work, I do what I had to do to look all right. But you could tell something was going on with me because I wasn't that extra. And my friends be like, oh, you want to go out? I didn't want to go nowhere. They'd go shop. I didn't want to do that. And then they be saying to me, girl, come get your nails done. Come do it. And I'll be like, I don't feel like doing this. And I'll be saying in my mind, don't they understand? I'm heartbroken. I don't want to go get my damn hair done, or something like that, right? But then as I evolved a little bit more, the times when my god sister would come do my hair, or I would go get an outfit, and somebody would say, wow, Imogene, you look really nice. And then I look and I'd be like, yeah, I really do look nice. You know what I'm saying? So it was me seeing me. I'm like, wow, who is this person? Like, they put makeup on me, and I, had clothes and a hairdo, got my nail. And I would actually look at myself and say, you looking good today, girl, And so I guess that experience reinforced the desire to want to look like that again. And then when you have somebody validate you, and it's almost like, it is like a double loop learning, whereas one reinforces the other, and then you start accepting it as truth. Because I know some people, when I compliment them, and I'd say, oh, you look nice, or I like your dress, oh, this whole thing, instead of just saying thank you, you know what I'm saying? Or I'll say,
I do that.
And people hate because of a sense of insecurity. Because even if I say, or she thinks she cute, right? Now, how do I know what you think?
That's the truth.
So why am I saying what you think? Why do I even care what you think about yourself? I need to be focused on me.
Right.
So it's almost like people go around measuring themselves to other people. Well, I'm not measuring myself to nobody, okay? Because I am Imogene, who I am, right? I know my weaknesses. I identify my strengths. I try to focus on the things that I can do well, and the things that I need help with. I try to strengthen them. I accept myself for who I am. You know what I'm saying? And I need to be comfortable in my skin, because that's the only way I win. I win when I'm comfortable in my skin. That may sound corny, but that's true.
I'm gonna get a t-shirt that say that.
So when I roll up out, when I roll up out of here, I roll the way I want to. And I know I still have people that laugh at me and pick at me. I sense it. Like sometimes I'll walk and I'll see people smirk and I just smile. And I'd be like, they don't even know who I am, Not that I'm like Queen of Sheba.
Yes, you are.
But in my mind, I'm like, look, I'm a force to be reckoned with.
You are.
Yeah. But anyway.
That was good.
That was good.
That felt good.
It did feel good.
Yeah.
And it all started out talking about Nipsey Hussle.
An unfortunate situation.
And an unfortunate situation. But much love to you. Much love to you, Nipsey. Rest in peace. You done well, my brother. You done well. Your legacy lives on. And you've earned your wings. I believe you flying around, protecting your family and your wife and your children and your loved ones. And rest in peace, my brother. You were a force to be reckoned with, and your light will never be dimmed. Word.
Dumb niggas, cause our culture is contagious. Third generation South Central gangbangers. I lived long enough to see it change. Think it's time we make arrangements. Finally wiggle out that maze.